Hey everyone, today we are building a real autonomous agent using Python, okay? We are not going to use LangChain here, and also we are not going to use any complex framework, okay? We are going to write just a pure logic, okay? Yeah. So let's think about a real AI system, okay? Like Devin or AutoGPT, okay? They are depend on a loop. That loop is cognitive loop, okay? What does mean of cognitive loop, okay? Let I ask a question to our AI agent, okay? Hey, do this. Any kind of query like create a to-do list for me, okay? They plan something, okay? After they execute, okay? Yeah, of course after that execution there is a observation that the result is successfully or not, okay? Yeah, according to that observation the loop will restart, like this first step is completed, so we need to again plan something else, okay, for the next step, okay? Yeah, so you can see it is a loop, okay? Yeah, so today I'm going to show you how to build that loop from scratch, okay? Yeah, so by the end of this video you will understand the react pattern, okay, reasoning plus action. Also you will having a knowledge about chain of thought, okay? The third one is the safe execution, okay? Like I asked our agent, okay, our CLI based agent, like, hey, can you create a to-do list for me, okay? He will start planning, executing and creating, okay? Yeah, so in the creation phase he of course our operating system will be responsible for this, okay? Yeah, so maybe our LLM will give a command which is harmful to our system, okay? Yeah, so we need to take care of that cases, okay? We need, before running that command, we need to make sure that command is safe for our environment, okay? Yeah, okay, so first let's understand the architecture, okay? Yeah, so as you can see on the screen, okay, user ask a query, okay? So let me just quickly make it bigger, okay? Yeah, so user ask some query, okay? Open terminal and he write like, hey, can you build a to-do list for me, okay? Yeah, after that what happened, the input processor, okay, in that case we first validate that input, okay, and we need to add some context here, okay? Yeah, we cannot directly pass that text to our LLM, okay? We are doing some changing, okay? What changes we need to done? Of course we are not going to modify the user query. We need to add some context like, hey, this is the system prompt, the role is system, and also we need to append that this is a user role and that query, okay? Yeah, after that that will goes inside the controller state, you can say here, okay? There is some memory, we can say it's a sort of memory which will basically remember everything, like which plan is had been done and which tool used, okay? Yeah, these things. After that there is a LLM reasoning engine, okay? Yeah, this is the core of our architecture, okay? In this case we are not asking for the final answer, okay? We just asking for the steps, okay? We just asked for the plan, okay? Yeah, so you can see the next is the decision layer, okay? In this we will decide that which we are going to do, what do next, okay? Yeah, like he decided some plan, okay? In that plan we need some tool, okay? Yeah, so okay, like he decided to create a file, so there is a tool available, run command, okay? Using that command he can write a file, okay? Yeah, so after the creation of file we need to observe that state, okay, the file is created successfully or not, okay? So again after that observation we need to again go to the decision layer, like that current plan is executed successfully, we can safely move to the next step, okay? Yeah, so you can see this is the loop, okay, and this is the whole architecture we are going to follow to create our CLI based AI agent, okay? Yeah, okay, so next we need to learn what is the chain of thought, okay? Yeah, so let me quickly open, okay? Yeah, you can see here the chain of thought is a prompt engineering technique that enhance the output of LLM, okay, by guiding them through a step by step reasoning process, okay? Yeah, so let me just take an example, okay? Yeah, like two user available, okay, user 1 and user 2. I ask both of users like, hey, I have a equation, you have to solve this equation, okay? Yeah, so one user who having the knowledge of chain of thoughts, another user who don't know what is the chain of thoughts, okay? I asked to both, okay, like hey, please solve this equation, okay? That equation having a lot of brackets, multiple things, okay? Addition, subtraction, okay? Yeah, lot of operations is included in that equation only, okay? Yeah, so of course both user will give me a response, okay? So who, like user 1 who are having the knowledge of chain of thoughts, okay, he will give me a clear, basically the step by step solution, like, hey, first step I just plan this, so I need to use this algorithm. The second step I now I can move with this operations, I need to first perform the plus operation, after that we need to perform this operation, okay? He will give me the step by step solution, okay? Yeah, And the second user who don't know about chain of thoughts, he will try to give me a directly answer. Maybe he give me the 45. Okay, yeah, that is fine. And there's a two case happen, of course. Maybe that answer is correct and also and maybe wrong. Okay, yeah. So just think about if that answer is correct, okay, that is fine. But we don't know which process he follow, which algorithm he follow, okay. We don't know the solution, okay. We just directly know the answers, okay, yeah. And the problem arises when he give me the wrong response, okay. In that case, we cannot debug where he made a mistake, okay, yeah. And now come to the user one, okay, who having knowledge of chain of thoughts, he give me the step by step solution, okay. Okay, like if he give me the correct answer, that is okay. In that case, we know that he using this algorithm, he follow these steps, and yeah, everything we are having, okay. Second scenario is the like he give me the wrong answer, okay. In this case, okay, we can easily debug, like we can say in step 4, hey user 1, like in step 4 you are making this mistake, like 10 plus 2 is 12, not 13, like this, okay. So we can easily debug, okay, yeah. So you can see in the last step is it encourages the model to explain its reasoning step by step, improving the accuracy, clarity, and reliability of complex prediction, okay, yeah. So this is the chain of thoughts, okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's it. Let's start coding, okay, yeah. Okay, so let's start coding, okay, yeah. So for that, first we need to create a folder, okay. So let me quickly create a folder, okay. So CLI based AI agent, okay, yeah. And open with VS Code, okay. You can open any code editor, okay, yeah. Okay, so first we need to set up our virtual environment, okay. So for that, okay, okay. So for that I need to run python -m venv, okay, and we can give any kind of name, okay. Let's give a CLI based agent, okay, yeah. Okay, so that is completed. We need to activate, okay. So for that we can write CLI, okay. Let's hit tab, okay. CLI based agent, okay, scripts slash activate. Okay, so now I am inside the virtual environment, okay. So we need some couple of things, okay, to install. So first we need to install pip install OpenAI, okay, yeah. Okay, OpenAI. Also we would be needing .env, okay, yeah, .env, and also we need Pydantic, okay. What is Pydantic? Pydantic is the data validation, okay, yeah. Okay, so let's wait for the installation, okay, and we will understand what is Pydantic. In the meantime, okay, so Pydantic is a most widely used data validation library for Python, okay, yeah. So why do we need Pydantic, okay? Be using that Pydantic, we will decide our output format, okay, and we told our LLM like hey, you have to give in this format only the response, okay. The response would be generated only following this format, okay, yeah. So you can see here we would be needing base model, okay, yeah. Of course we would be needing base model. Using this base model we will create a class, okay. You can see here inside that class we can define key value, okay, yeah. And we can directly pass this to our LLM to tell our LLM like hey, we need this type of format in our response, okay, yeah. Okay, so that's it, okay. Let me check. I think installed it, okay. It's still installing, okay, no issue. Okay, so in the meantime let me import create one file, okay, yeah. agent.py, okay, not this, agent.py. Also we need OpenAI API key, okay, so let's okay, I can bring it here. Okay, so OpenAI API key, okay, yeah, you can get this API key from the platform.openai.com, okay, yeah, just sign up yourself, okay, and generate a secret key. Okay, so I think now the installation is complete. Okay, installation is completed. Okay, no issue. So first we would be needing, okay, of course, to load our environment. Okay, yeah, so for that I need to import .env, okay, yeah, and of course we need to load this CNV after just, okay, yeah, and we would we just install OpenAI. We would be needing OpenAI, okay. We are going to perform creation, writing and deletion operation, okay, that will be done by only operating system, okay. So we need operating system as well, okay, yeah, so import operating system, okay, yeah. Also we would be needing the Pydantic, okay, yeah, and from that Pydantic we will need base model and field, okay, yeah. Okay, so these things we would be needing, okay, yeah, of course we will tell like JSON format, so we have to import the JSON also, okay, yeah, no issue. And let's initialize our OpenAI, okay, yeah, client equal to OpenAI, okay, yeah, okay, that's good. Now it's automatically load the API key, okay, yeah, no issue. So now what happened, we need to create our, okay, how we can get the response, let me just show you, okay, the response equal to, okay, let me take a user query, okay, yeah, okay, what is the, okay, no issue, okay, user query from input only, okay, yeah, enter your query here and we will get some kind of response, okay, and that response, let me just quickly copy from here, okay, yeah, okay, just a second, okay. So okay, from that response client.chat, okay, we already initialize our client, okay, let me just, yeah, we are going to use GPT-4o mini, okay, we don't want this response format as of now, okay, and inside the message history let me pass our prompt here, okay, yeah. So of course we need to give our user query, okay, that will be given by only user, okay, so that role will be user, okay, yeah. And also we need to tell our model like, hey, you are an AI assistant which resolve a query based on the or based on the user query, okay, yeah. Again we need to give him a role, okay, the role will be system, okay, yeah, alternate, okay, yeah. Okay, so let me quickly print this response, okay, console.log the response dot choices, okay, not console, okay, we need to write print here, so print response dot choices, okay, it's automatic, okay, so response dot choices of 0 dot message dot connect, okay, dot content not connect, okay, yeah. So let me quickly start this, okay, so how we can start, Python agent.py. Okay, so let me ask the question, can you solve 2 plus 3, okay, yes, you are a helpful assistant, okay, that's good. So yes, the sum of 2 plus 3 is 5, okay. So now this is simple chatbot, okay, yeah. So now we can make it a AI agent, okay. So as of now we have two user, okay, basically two roles. One is the user role, second one is the system role, okay, yeah. Later there is a lot of role, there is a planning, okay, we are going to call some tools, okay, there is a developer role, okay, the tool is not a role, okay, yeah. Okay, so there is a developer role as well, okay. So I am going to create this message into a dynamic, okay, yeah. So just I need to do here, okay, let me just quickly cut it here, okay, create a message history, okay, equal to, and paste it here, okay, yeah, and use this message history here, okay, yeah. Why I need this? Okay, because later there is a developer role. Okay, the developer doing something. Okay, the role of the developer. Okay, so we need to dynamically append that role. Okay, maybe some other roles is coming. Okay, so that's why we need to make it dynamic. Okay, yeah. So let me just format it. No issue, I don't think. Okay, yeah. So as of now we are able to make a request to our LLM. Okay, yeah, from our terminal. Okay, yeah. So also I need to modify this. Okay, this is the system prompt. Okay, yeah. So let me create here. Okay, yeah, or else here. Okay, so it is a multi-line. Okay, so okay, yeah. So inside system prompt we are going to give like, hey, you are an AI assistant, you following the chain of thoughts process, you work on the plan, observations, tools, a lot of steps. Okay, and these examples, these some kind of rules. Okay, you have to follow. Okay, so everything. Okay, we are going to define here only. Okay, yeah. So let's make our system prompt very powerful. Okay, yeah. So first we need to told him like, hey, you are an expert, okay, something, and you are work on the start, plan, and output, these kind of steps. Okay, yeah. So for that, let me just bring it something here. Okay, yeah. So you can see here, hey, you are an expert AI assistant in resolving user queries using chain of thoughts. Okay, you work on start, plan, and output steps. You need to first plan what needs to be done. The plan can be multiple steps. Of course, that plan can be multiple steps. Once you think enough plan has been done, finally you can give an output. Okay, you can also call a tool if required from the list of available tools. Okay, from every tool call, wait for the observe step, which is output from the call tool. Okay, yeah. So we already discussed on the architecture in the end of architecture. Okay, you can see when a tool is called, there is observation step available that observe that according to basically proceed next steps. Okay, yeah. So we need to tell explicitly inside the system prompt like, hey, you are an expert, you are working on this. Okay, yeah. So we just told him like, hey, you are user queries using chain of thought. Basically you have to follow the chain of thoughts. Okay, yeah. And we need to told him some rules. Okay, yeah. So these rules observed by me only. Okay, if you observe any kind of rules when you run your agent, okay, and you get like a some differ output, anything else, okay, you can define here. Okay, so these are my rules, okay, which I observed during my development. Okay, yeah. So there is some rules. Okay, I want our LLM will strictly give the JSON output only. Okay, so I write here strictly follow the given JSON output format. Okay, we will make a JSON output format. Okay, yeah, using our Pydantic. Okay, yeah, no issue. And you have to only run one step at a time. Okay, yeah. And also the sequence of step is the start where user give an input. Okay, and after that there is a plan step that can be multiple times, and after that finally output. Okay, which is going to the display to the user. Okay, yeah, that's good. And I need to give I'm going to give here some coding rules. Okay, yeah. So okay, sometimes we are getting some code, like we are getting any kind of HTML code. Okay, so inside that HTML multiple time I see that is not a proper readable format. Okay, yeah. So we need to told our LLM inside the system prompt like, hey, when you perform any kind of coding actions, please make sure that output provided by you will be clean and readable format. Okay, and it's also using a lot of escape characters, escape sequence. Okay, yeah. So let's quickly told him. Okay, yeah. So how we can, let me just bring it here. Okay, that will also, okay, yeah. So you can see here there is some important coding rules I observe. Okay, so when providing code in output, always provide it in clean, readable format, and do not use escape sequence like backslash and double slash or this. Okay, yeah. Do not wrap code into triple quotes. Provide code as it should appear in the actual file. Okay, and for multi-file projects, clearly separate each file with the clear labels. Okay, yeah. So I observed these things. Okay, yeah. Also, we need to told him when you perform some file creation. Okay, you need to think about it. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to use Windows only. Okay, so I'm thinking about the Windows only. There is just some modification needed when you use inside the Linux or Mac OS. Okay, yeah. So we need to told him some critical window file creation rules. Okay, yeah. Okay. So there is some critical window file, like you are running on Windows. I explicitly told him, hey, you are running on Windows, not Linux or Mac. Okay. So in Linux or Mac, echo is using, okay, with the commands. Okay. Yeah. So I am explicitly told him like, hey, do not use echo commands with the HTML tags or they will fail our Windows. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Second one is the don't use cat or here doc syntax as they don't work on the Windows. Okay. Yeah. For creating files, always use the create file or create file ps. Okay, we are going to create a two tools for the creating files. One is the create file, second one is the create file ps. Why there is a two different? The second one is the for PowerShell only. Okay, yeah. And when using create file, provide file name and content as a separate parameter. Okay, yeah. So basically we are going to pass the file name and content, so that will be a separate parameter. Okay, yeah. So we will be going to create a two tools. Okay, yeah. So let's quickly create a tools, create that tools. Okay, yeah, later we'll see. Okay, okay. So first we I need to create a function, okay, which will be responsible to run our command. Okay, yeah. So let me just, okay, so you can see here the run command. Okay, execute a system command and return the output. Okay, I'm using a sub process. Okay, using some sub process we can it's very easy to handle all the commands. Okay, yeah. So if you are using Mac OS or Linux, okay, you don't need to like this. Okay, you can directly basically execute this command. Okay, yeah. So what I'm doing here, I import the sub process and also I'm using here try and exception. Okay, so inside the try we are using sub process for the running our command. Okay, there is a command, the cell is true. Okay, capture the output, it's successfully or not. Okay, and after 30 seconds please time out, UTF-8 I'm giving. Okay, the errors will be ignored. Okay, yeah. And we are returning that hey successful or not, else if we are returning like if not successful, why. Okay, yeah. So this function responsible for the running our command. Okay, yeah. So let me just create a two tools, okay, which will responsible to create a files. Okay, yeah. So we you can already I show you like inside the critical rules. Okay, I already told our LLM like, hey, you have to provide file name and content in the separate parameter. Why? Because here for the creating file, our function will take as just two parameter. The first is the file name, second one is the content. Okay, creating a file with the given content which will work on the Windows. Okay, yeah. So here we will try to make directory like anything. I'll open this file. Okay, yeah. So you can let me explain. Okay. So there is a file name is coming, like I need to create an index.html. Okay, that index.html will come here. Okay, yeah. So we just take operating system dot path. Okay, and dot directory name, use this file name and create the file. Okay, yeah. Okay, and also here maybe our file name is already exist. Okay, if our file name is already exist, so what I'm doing here, just skip this. Of course it will skip. Okay, yeah, it will directly skip. Okay, yeah. So here what we are doing here I am just writing the content inside that file. Okay, and return that file name that is created successfully. Okay, we are getting any kind of error to creating that file, so I am just returning error creating and that particular file name. Okay, yeah. So you can see here we are using operating system here. Okay, yeah. So let me uh, discuss again. Okay, how it's running. Basically we are getting file name and content in a parameter. Okay, it will try to make the file. Okay, using make directories. Okay, it will take that file name, it will create. Okay, if it's not exist. Okay, if it exists it's okay. Okay, what happened there, maybe there is some content modification, so it will append that, basically make those changes. Okay, here. Okay, yeah. If we get the both like file name and content in a same. Okay, so at the same time, so what I'm doing here, basically you have to first create the file and then append that content into that file. Okay, yeah. So it's a normal. Okay, we can directly run our command prompt. Okay, yeah. Maybe we will get some command which is run only on PowerShell. Okay, yeah. So for that, let me create another file, okay, which will also take same file name and content, okay, but there is just some difference, okay, on the command, okay. Yeah, so here if we try like creating a file using PowerShell for Windows, okay. Yeah, we need to replace some these kind of characters, okay. Yeah, and there is a ps command, PowerShell command, set content path. We need to pass the file name and the value, all those content, and we can use directly run command here, okay. Yeah, directly run that command, okay. Yeah, so this function responsible to create a file using PowerShell, and this function responsible to create a file using command prompt, okay. Yeah, okay, so these are all tools, okay. So there is a 3 tools available, okay. Yeah, let me create a function, not function, let me create an object, okay. Yeah, so this is the object, okay, object for our available tools, okay. Yeah, now we have some available tools, okay. So let's back to our system prompt, okay. So now we have the critical window file creation rules, also we have all those tools available, okay. Yeah, so next we need to tell him like, hey, how you have to use that tool, okay. Yeah, so we need to tell him like, there is some tool format also, okay. Yeah, how you can use that tools format, okay. Yeah, so of course we need to define some kind of rules, okay. Yeah, basically there is a multiple step are going to do. We are following the chain of thoughts process, okay. That will plan something, first start, plan, observe, output, then we will get the output, okay. Yeah, so the solution will divide into multiple steps, okay. Yeah, so we need to told our basically tool, we need to told our LLM like, hey, you have to follow this way, okay. Yeah, we will give some examples, okay, but here we are going to give some tool uses format, okay. Yeah, how he can use, we need to tell him like there is a 3 available tools, okay, here, okay. Yeah, so for I can do for the create file, okay. For the create file we will get this kind of, okay, response, okay. Yeah, for the creating file there is a step tool, okay. The tool is create file, okay. We are using create file, the input is file name, okay. You can see here the file name we are getting part to file.html something, okay. Yeah, and the content we will get this, okay. So we are telling him like, hey, we for the creating file, when you have to use the tool of the create file, okay, like when the input format in this way, okay, like a file name and the part.html, okay. Yeah, and we need to told him for the create file ps, okay. Yeah, both are same, but okay, both are taking same parameter, file name and the content, okay. So we can say like for create file you have to use the same format, okay. Yeah, and for the run command we can told him like, hey, you have to use only this kind of command like make directory folder or dir, okay, this kind of. So let me told this also here, okay. Yeah, so for run command use only for simple commands like mkdir, okay, folders or dir like this, okay. Yeah, and also we need to told him like, hey, this is the output format, okay. Of course our output format is like this. We are going to perform these kind of steps, okay. There's a stop steps, okay. There is a plan step can be happen, there is a output, there is a tool, okay. The content always be a string, okay. Yeah, in the tool always string, there is a input will be also string, okay. So everything in string, and the response format is a JSON format, okay. Yeah, so this is the output format. Above we are giving him the basically some clarification how he have to use tools available, okay. Yeah, so also we need to tell him like these are the some available tools, okay. Yeah, so these are some available tools, okay. Okay, let me just, okay, run command, create file and create file ps, okay. So in run command we are simply passing the command here, execute simple system command, use of dir or make dir only, okay. Yeah, for the creating file we need to pass the file name and content here, okay. Creates a file with a content, okay, recommended. Create file ps, file name and content pass, create a file using PowerShell, okay. Yeah, so these are the available tools, okay. Yeah, let me give a example of file creation, okay. Yeah, okay, so this is the example of file creation, okay. Yeah, so of course the step should be tool, okay. The step is tool, we are using like create file, okay. The input we are getting this and the content is getting this, okay. Same as we write here, okay. Yeah, no issue. Okay, let's give an example here. Okay, let me give an example for simple one, like solving any kind of operation. Okay, yeah, any kind of equation. Okay, no issue. So like use this example. Okay, hey, like user ask a query, can you solve 2 plus 3 into 5 divided by 10? So we need to first plan. Okay, like hey, user want to solve a math expression. Okay, yeah. After that, again it's a planning, following order operation, multiplication and division first. Okay, next the plan is the content 3 into 5 equal to 15, then 15 by 10 equal to 1 by 1.5. Okay, again the next step is the plan, the content is finally 2 plus 1.5 equal to 3.5. The next step is the output we are getting. Okay, yeah, so finally now the answer is 3.5. Okay, so using this way you have to respond. Okay, yeah. Also we need to give him one example for the creating file. Okay, how he need to create a file. Okay, yeah. So okay, we need to told him like creating file HTML file. Okay, the start create an HTML file name. I told him like I give a query, create an HTML file name test.html with some simple content. Okay, so he will start planning. Okay, okay, I will use create file tool to create the HTML file. Okay, next he is still using his tools. Okay, the input is this and the content is this. Okay, the next he is planning something. Okay, like hey, the file should be created successfully, then output HTML file test.html has been created. Okay, after this there is an observation step. Okay, yeah, that will be internally happen, but we will see on the response. Okay, no issue. So this is the our complete system prompt. Okay, yeah, this is the our complete system prompt. Okay, we have also message history here. Okay, so let me quickly just have here only our system prompt. Okay, yeah, we'll see why I am doing this. Okay, yeah. So I already told you. Okay, I will show you like how we can create a cognitive loop. Okay, yeah. So again, maybe our LLM will do something wrong. Okay, he need to again re-verify everything like from the first steps, so he can restart from first one. Okay, yeah, like he observed something, he need to restart. Okay, yeah. So for that we need to make a loop here. Okay, yeah. So let's quickly make. So let me just save it. I think it's not working. Okay, no issue. Okay, so as of now we have only in the message history only the system prompt. Okay, yeah. So let's move it here. Okay, let me just create a loop while it's a true. Okay, yeah. What we are going to do here, we need to ask some query. Okay, user query, enter your query here. Okay, yeah. Okay, after that we can check here like hey, maybe user added some exit, quit or buy. Okay, so we need to print like goodbye and break that. Okay, so if the user query, okay, so let me quickly bring this also. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if the user query he enter like exit, quit or buy, so he want to basically exit from terminal. Okay, so we need to tell him like print, we need to just print the goodbye and break that thing. Okay, yeah, basically we return from here only. Okay, yeah. Next, now we need to attend basically append our message basically user role to our message history. Okay, yeah. So message history dot append role is user and content is the user query. Okay, yeah. So again we need to create a loop here. Okay, yeah. So for the outer loop is responsible for like if user asks a query. Okay, after that query executed, he can also ask another query. Okay, yeah. Basically if we don't have outer loop, basically after the one query execution our basically okay, yeah, our terminal is stop, basically we exit from the program. Okay, yeah. So we need to another. Okay, yeah. So let me just create this loop also, and I need to move this to here only. Okay, yeah. Now we will get the response here. Okay, yeah. So we are going to use GPT-4o mini. Okay, yeah, model. I need to pass the message history, so already it's passed. Okay, so now we need to told him like hey, you have to follow this format only. Okay, so the response format should be this only. Okay, yeah. So we already installed Pydantic. Okay, so using that Pydantic we can define our output format. Okay, yeah. So let me quickly define our output format. Okay, how we can, we already have our Pydantic, and also we have our base model and field, okay, from Pydantic only, okay, no issue. So we can okay, let me quickly find. Okay, so this is our output format, okay, there is a base model. Okay, let me import optional also. I think optional from typing only, okay, let me quick fix. Okay, I think it's okay. So you can see here, this is the class output format, okay. I already showed on the website of this, okay, Pydantic, okay, yeah, you already see like we would be needing base model and the field, okay, yeah. So you can see here in output format we want there is a step, okay, inside that step the ID of the step, example like start, plan, output and tool, okay, okay, and there is a content, okay, the content will be string, okay, yeah, maybe content or none are the optional string content for the step, okay. There is a tool, okay, yeah, again that tool will be none, okay, maybe that tool will be none. The input in all cases maybe the input is not coming, okay, but the step is always required, okay, yeah. Content can be null but our step can be defined, okay, so that's why we are right here, example start, plan, output, tool, okay, yeah. So using Pydantic, using base model field, okay, we can create our output format, okay, and we can directly pass this format to our LLM, okay, yeah, instead of this JSON. Okay, so this is the output format, okay, yeah. Next, what we need to do here, we need to do something like, okay, so now we will get the response, okay, yeah. Okay, so let's grab our raw result, okay, yeah. So from the response dot choices, okay, again, okay, so we will get the response from the response dot choices of 0 dot message dot content, okay, yeah. Okay, so here we need to append a new role assistant, okay, which will having our raw result, okay, yeah. So let me quickly pass this also, okay, yeah. Okay, so there is a one role for the assistant and it will have our raw result, okay, yeah. So let me open our parse result, okay. Okay, so now we have our parse result, okay. I need to just change the message.content to message.parse only, okay, yeah. So this parsed result having our steps, okay, this result is followed by our defined output format, okay. You can see it's always, let me just quickly parsed result, okay, parsed result dot, okay, I think it's not suggesting me, okay, let me again, no issue, okay. So what we need to do here, if our parse result, basically the step is start, okay, suppose we need to continue, okay, we don't need to do anything, we need to just print that content here and continue, okay, yeah. If our step is okay, okay, so hi, now we having our parse result, okay, yeah. So inside there if the parse result dot step is start, okay, our step is start, so we need to just print that content and we need to move ahead, okay, yeah. How many step remaining? Of course the step is a plan, there is a output step, okay, and there is a tool step, okay, yeah. So let me just quickly bring the use also for the tool, okay, yeah, else if the start is basically step is tool, okay. So we are doing some couple of things, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, so if the step is tool, so what we need to do here, we need to be we are getting some, okay, the tool parse result dot tool, and also we are getting tools input parse result dot input, okay. How I know this, because we have created this, okay. You can say if the tool, okay, yeah, the ID of the tool to be called, we are getting that also. And let me go here, okay, you can see here the tool and input we are getting, okay, yeah. So that's why here I am able to get that, okay, the parse result dot tool and the parse result dot input. Okay, if the tool to be called, which tool we are calling, that is empty. Okay, if the tool name is empty, so we need to just send our observation like, hey, I observe the tool is nothing. Okay, the tool name is empty, this tool input he requested to call. Okay, there is an error, we need to send like, hey, the tool name is not provided. Okay, yeah. Okay, next we need to check if the tool name is not empty. Okay, which tool we are going to call, and also if that is not available inside available tools. Okay, which tools we are having, you can see the error tool not found. Okay, in that case we need to also send our observation like this tool to be called, but this is not available inside. Okay, you can see the error tool not available. Okay, input we need to just send our observation, and you can see here there is a role is developer. Okay, so now you understand why I make the message history is dynamic. Okay, yeah. And after, if these are not like our tool is not empty, okay, and this also our tool available inside our available tools, okay, we are good to go, move ahead. Okay, so I'm just printing there like we are calling that tool only. Okay, yeah. So try to pass result. Okay, so we need to pass the tool input and tool to be called in this function. Okay, pass tool input. Okay, yeah. So why we need to do this, basically we are decided some format. Okay, yeah. So let me just quickly bring this function and then we'll understand properly. Okay, so okay, let me create here. Okay, no issue, I already I think bring here. Okay, no issue, let me just paste it again. Okay, so in this function we are taking as a input, okay, tool input and tool name. Okay, why we need to do this, like we need to first check this is a proper JSON or not. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we need to convert it the proper format. Okay, which format we would be needing. So first we are checking if the input is empty or none. Okay, if it's, then we need to return none. Okay, if there is no input. Okay, yeah. So next we need to check for the create file and create file ps tool. Okay, if this tool is available. Okay, so these tools need to be a dictionary with the file name and content type. Okay, which we already decided. Okay, so in this case what we are doing to here, first there is a, I am trying to parse as a JSON here. Okay, yeah, I am trying to parse here JSON, but if this is fail, so I am trying to make here comma separated. Okay, yeah. So you can see if the input is valid JSON. Okay, so we are return directly here. You can see here if the input is valid JSON, that's okay, we need to just directly return. Otherwise we are falling here like make it a comma separated. Okay, yeah, we are trying to make it try comma separated. Okay, if this is okay, then we are returning here, otherwise we return none here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so okay, let's discuss some another. Okay, yeah, that is good. So let me come here. Okay, now we have our parse input. Okay, properly which input we are need to give. So you can see here the tool in tool, if the tool to be called is available here. Okay, so if parse input and file name in parse input and content in parse input. Okay, yeah. So if the parse input and this file name, okay, in parsed input, okay, and contain in parse input. So in this case the tool response, okay, of course the available tools, which tools we are calling, we are getting that function here. Okay, we need to pass two parameter, the first parameter is file name and the second parameter is content. Okay, so if both are available, so we are ready to do, basically we are ready to pass, or we can pass our both parameter here. Okay, so I'm just here available tools of tool to be called, I am getting that function here, and inside that function I am passing both parameters, the file name and content here. Okay, yeah. Else we can directly say tool response like a invalid input for this expected JSON with file name and content here. Okay, yeah, that we are not getting. Okay, else we can call like a else tool response equal to available tools tool to be called and tool input. Okay, yeah. And of course we need to send our observation. Okay, the observation is the step is observation, a tool to be called, and input this, and output we are getting this here. Okay, maybe we are getting some kind of exception here. Okay, like there is some error during the running our command. Okay, so in this case also we need to send our observation. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is for the step of tool. Okay, again if we have of course we have our step plan. Okay, yeah. So in that case we also we don't need to do much more things. Okay, just if the step is plan, we need to just print that content and move further. Okay, yeah, if the step is output, in that case we need to just print and we need to break the loop here. Okay, yeah, okay. And also we can we are having some problem to running our main loop. Okay, so in that case we need to check here, we need to print the error, what kind of error we are getting. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I think this is the final one. Okay, we don't need to return explicitly our response, and for the every step we are printing. Okay, yeah, so let me quickly call. Okay, let's just check it's working or not. Okay, okay, so Python agent.py. Okay, yeah. Okay, so enter your query. So let me ask him, like, can you solve ax plus by, like, okay, let me show you, like, can you give me a code of C++? Can you, okay, let me ask another question. Can you provide me code in JavaScript for sorting array? Okay, yeah. Okay, so what happened here? Please provide your query or request, waiting for user input to proceed with the further planning step. Awaiting your request or question to assist you. Okay. Please let me know how I can assist you. Okay, I think I made some mistake. Okay, let me check. Okay. Okay, here while it's true, I'm getting the user query. I think I am having two times. Okay, user query here also, and I think the outside of this also we have user query. Okay, okay, that's why. Okay, I'm trying to send my query with this input here. Okay, and when I enter again, then it's taking me back. Okay, yeah, you can see here when I enter any empty. Okay, yeah, here I haven't provided any kind of query, so it's asked me, like, please provide your query or request, waiting for your user input to proceed with further planning step. Okay, yeah, now let me ask anything. Okay, can you provide me a C++ code for sorting array? Okay, you can see here user request a C++ code to sort array. I will write a simple C++ program that demonstrate how to sort an array using the standard library or sort function. Okay, yeah. So it's a calling a tool create file. So tool response creating sort array.cpp. The system cannot find the path. Okay, there was an error creating the file indicating a possible issue with the path. I will ensure the file is created the current directory calling tool create file. Okay, you can see it's not able to create file. Okay, yeah, here it's able to create file successfully. Okay, let me check. Okay, yeah, it's created a C++ project folder. Inside there he is creating a .cpp file. Okay, yeah, you can see here the C++ file sort array.pp has been created successfully, the C++ project directory. Okay, so you can see here it's able to create a folder in our directory. Also you can it's create a file here. Okay, and it's append the code also. Okay, yeah, okay, so let me ask something else. Okay, yeah, hey, can you create to-do list using HTML, CSS, JavaScript in to-do list folder? Okay, let me see what happened. User request a to-do list application using HTML, CSS and JavaScript in to-do list folder. Okay, you can see here I will create a directly named to-do list to store the HTML, CSS and JavaScript file for the to-do list application. Calling tool. Okay, the tool response is successful. Now that the tool list directly has been created, I will create the HTML, CSS and JavaScript file for the to-do list application. He is calling a tool. Okay, you can see here it's a same like human thinking. Like if anyone comes to me and call me like, hey, ask me to create a to-do list. Okay, I first think, hey, I need to create a directory. Inside there I need to create a index.html file. After that file I need to create a CSS file. After that I need to create a JavaScript file. I need to link both CSS and JavaScript to our HTML file. Okay, then I need to create HTML codes and to append inside there. Okay, so we need to call step by step. Okay, so you can see it's thinking, planning, executing and observing all those things like a human. Okay, how it's possible? It's possible using chain of thoughts process. Okay, yeah. So you can see here the to-do list application has been created successfully with the following file. Okay, index.html, style.css and script.js. Okay, let me see. I am having index.html file. Okay, and also script.js. You can see it's already connected. Let me quickly open it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's opening. Okay, let me add anything. Okay, yeah. Okay, I am able to add. Okay, yeah. Let me ask him to add delete functionality also. Okay, please add delete functionality also in our to-do list. Okay, yeah. User request to add delete functionality to a to-do list application. To the to-do list, I will modify the JavaScript code to include a delete button for each to-do item, allowing user to. Okay, you can see it's also can modify our existing directory. Okay, yeah. So let me see. It's okay. The delete functionality has been successfully added. Let me check. Okay, let me add something. You can see there's a delete button available. Okay, okay, I am able to delete. Okay, yeah. So now our CLI based agent ready. Okay, yeah. Now we can create basically a project from our terminal only. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's it for this video. Okay, yeah. Thank you.